Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I am the fantastic one, Larry Robinson, in the house today, full effect, all 10 toes down, kicking it, ready for the world. What's up, America? It's Larry Robinson!
I thought you were going to come in with some kind of subtlety and like you had some sense. How wrong I was.
See, it's a build-up. It's a build-up, brother. See, I'm trying to show people that you ain't got to come in and kick the door in. Mm-hmm. You can walk in the door and then kick everything in the room down if you need to.
Tear the room up once you get in.
Once you get in. You got to get in first. Man? You got to get in first. Man.
How you doing?
A lot of things going on in the world.
Yes.
A lot of things going on in the world.
Ooh, and they different things, too.
Different things, man. You know, I mean.
Some of these things we ain't seen.
Ever.
If at all.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. If ever.
Ever.
But minimally for a long time.
So let's get real for a minute, a brief second. Now, America.
You talking
this
to America
is a black
now?
man. It's a black man. You know, we talk a lot on this show about being from historically black colleges, being black men, and that type of thing, and how we approach sports, how we approach life. But if you can look at what happened on the Capitol and not get furious, but you can look at University of Kentucky's basketball team kneeling, or Colin Kaepernick, or the many other incidents of peaceful protest. You are the problem.
You absolutely are the problem.
You're the problem.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes. Your vision, your
problem.
lens.
You need to really take a deep look at yourself, because we all know that if those were brothers or people of color, just a little melanin, boy, that whole lawn would have been littered with people.
With bodies.
And it wouldn't even have been. It'd been some dogs. They'd have been all on them.
Right. And I don't know an African American that I have talked to yet that did not look at that through that lens.
Man.
And thank God that it wasn't us, because it would have been an easy excuse to exterminate. So, a lot of people. So
that's the mindset that these two black men are in as we produce this fantastic, colorful sports show. So what other colorful and nice things have happened this week in America? Well, let's look at the sports scene.
There was an NCAA championship, national championship game. That was
that a game?
Strange.
Was
in
that
a lot of ways.
In what way? Go check it out. Go ahead. Show me what you thought was strange about it.
Well, I mean, the vibe was strange.
It was very much so.
First of all, and I mean that COVID vibe.
Okay.
And then, oh my goodness, it was like, y'all gonna do what you doing. I mean, for Alabama, it was like, okay, y'all, okay, go and do what you go ahead, Ohio State.
Well, my thing,
because we got you. You know, you score once, we're gonna score twice. You score twice, we're scoring 3 times, and it was like that. They were never bothered, never seemed to be worried or bothered whatsoever by anything that Ohio State did.
Well, I think COVID had one big, huge impact on Alabama, is that their typical players that leave stayed.
Yeah.
And so you had, like, maybe one year you had 25 stars. This year you got 40. Because the 20
First
didn't go
rounders.
the 20 didn't go to the league the year before.
First
So I think
rounders.
that was a big part of it. I
Leftovers,
think
yeah.
that was a big part of it. And then on top of that, Ohio State really only played 7 games. So we don't know if they truly was that second place team, but they put a spanking.
Yes, they absolutely did. When we come back, we're going to talk a little about context and priorities. Right here, only on R&R on Sports, where you're going to get it real and you're going to get it right. We'll be back after this.
And it might stink a little bit, but it's real and it's true and it's authentic. So that's the way we coming.
Shh.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R. R&R on sports.
Black Nerd Power.
My name is Richard Douglas Jones. I'm one of the hosts for Black Nerd Power. Who am I? I'm a stand-up comic. You may have seen me on Comedy Central on the LOL Network.
Black Nerd Power.
I've been living this nerd life for a long time, like comic books and movies and all that other stuff. That's who we are. Just come hang out with us, man. Just geek out a little bit. It's okay. We won't tell.
Black Nerd Power.
And if you're a black nerd, you've had to hide that for most of your life. Black Nerd Power on the Kazukian Network.
Welcome to another edition of Fly on the Wall. At the tender age of 40, Vince Carter is now the oldest active player in the NBA. Recently, he had a meeting about his future with a league commissioner. R&R on Sports was there, and now you become a fly on the wall.
Vince, I'm Geraldine Gomez, but everybody calls me G-Mama, and I'm the commissioner of the OBL. So nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too, Gerald. I mean, G-Mama. What in the world is the OBL?
It's the OBL, as in OH, as in Over the Hill Basketball League. I'm shocked that you're not familiar with us because we are that necessary next level of basketball for players of advanced age like yourself.
Hold on, Granny. Ain't nothing about my game over the hill. You got me messed up, Grandmama.
That's G-Mama, Mr. Carter, and please do not underestimate the O-League's financial wherewithal to make you a most lucrative offer and help secure your future. There aren't many coaching jobs right after the NBA for colored coaches.
What?
I meant coaches of color. I brought along our league MVP for you to meet, although I'm sure you've heard of the great JoJo Bright.
You mean NBA Hall of Famer JoJo White,
Oh,
right?
No. I mean JoJo Bright. JoJo White's game was all right, but baby, JoJo Bright's game is all right, uptight, and out of sight. Don't look now, but here he comes.
You mean that old dude coming this way in those tight shorts, long socks, 1962 Chucks, and is that a Walker?
Don't eyeball me, rookie. You belong to me now. Here, go wash my car and bring me back a lobster dinner.
We haven't signed him yet, JoJo.
Oh, never mind.
Man, you look like you come off the bench for the Happy Trails nursing home team.
Rook, you must not know about me. I'm the MVP.
Vince, did I tell you about our TV contract with OSBN?
Never heard of it, but I bet the O stands for old, right?
Well, coincidentally, it is the Old School Basketball Network.
I'm not interested in the OBL, the OSBN, you, or Kunta Kinte over there. I'm out of here.
That's it. Boy, I gotta learn you some respect. Meet me on that court over there.
Man, I ain't fooling with you today. Man, you see I'm rocking these $1,000 Ferragamo shoes. Man.
I'm about to open up a $1,000 can of whoop-ass on your hind part.
JoJo, don't forget your walker.
I don't need no walker for this punk. Oh! Geraldine, I fell and I can't get up. Bring me that walker over there so I can go learn this boy some respect.
Riffin' on jazz.
When two friends get together to kick it
about jazz, it's called Riffin' on Jazz.
Catch us riffing on jazz every week right here on your favorite broadcast or podcast platforms.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kazukian Network. Kazukian!
Back from I was in the key of K.
Well, hey, man.
It was sharp.
See, that means I'm unique.
You're what?
I'm unique. I'm
Unique.
fresh. I'm different.
Oh, okay.
I'm grandiloquent.
Okay, grandiloquent. Okay, so we were talking off mic, and I know you like to keep things evergreen and whatnot. But I was so happy to see the Browns.
Really?
Oh yes. I mean, come on. You can't be a perennial doormat, and I mean you cannot be a fan and not be pulling for the Browns to do something decent.
Yeah, man, it's been so long.
It's been a long time.
And it's interesting. Both of those
when
teams
they used to be,
both of those teams
dominant.
are in Ohio. It's Cleveland and Cincinnati are two of the worst ran franchises
consistently
in all of professional sports. If we say the worst professional sport, it's the New York Knicks. It's
well, I mean, you want to jump over. You want to jump into basketball.
I'm just saying. I mean, you got. I'm just talking about across the board where worse.
I'm saying the Cavaliers don't perennially cut.
Shoot. Ooh, yes. If it wasn't for LeBron, they had never won a championship. Wow. Yeah. So I wonder.
Haven't since.
I wonder if there's something in the water.
Well, speaking of LeBron,
stupidity in the water.
Speaking of LeBron, that's a great segue because I want to talk about. You asked me a week or two ago about Kyrie.
Okay.
And I know that LeBron is Kyrie's or was Kyrie's role model. I don't know who his role model is now, but I know LeBron. I know he looked up to LeBron. So one thing that LeBron does extraordinarily well is to keep the first things,
the main thing.
Right. Thank you. And the main thing with both of them is what?
Basketball.
They're basketball players.
Absolutely.
They are basketball players. Okay. So Kobe was Kyrie's role model.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. So role model wasn't the thing. So whatever LeBron was, an example.
LeBron,
a good example for it.
Listen. We Howard was corrected by our producer. And I was about to just smack him across the head because I'm like, how in the world could you?
Computer.
So anyway, so yes, and so LeBron always looked at Kyrie like a little brother. And talked about it as such.
Okay.
From what I understand is that never was really cool with Kyrie. Kyrie never liked playing second because he resigned. Now he resigned with Cleveland because with the thought that he was going to be the man in Cleveland.
Okay. No matter what their relationship was, I'm gonna tell you what he should have gotten from. I wish he had gotten from LeBron's example, because I think he's having some trouble now. But you've got to keep the main thing. Okay, you are a basketball player.
Not only though. I think
you're
starting to sound like the Ingram chick.
Let me finish.
Man, listen. You're starting to sound like the chick talking about shut up and dribble. No. Don't shut up and dribble.
I'm not saying
say what
that.
you got to say, but get your butt back on the court. Because man, I love watching you play.
You got to show up
Kyrie,
for work.
Come on, man.
Otherwise,
get back on the court, bruh. Your game is just, man, you got a God-given game, man. Let me plead with you for a minute. Come on, bruh. Ain't nobody doing it like you, man. The way you able to go through the lane, man, they're talking about folks getting in the lane, man. Nobody do it like you. Come on, brother. We need to see you, man. You got a gift that God gave you, and you need to give it to the world.
You ought to check yourself. My
for
daddy
real.
would say, you sound like a FUEL.
A fool?
Fuel.
Well, listen, now, seriously. You want to speak to
How you going to wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
How you going to beg somebody that makes $1 gazillion a minute to...
Why does he make $1 gazillion a minute?
I don't know. It's questionable to me now.
If those people that are extraordinary at what they do, the Michael Jackson, if Michael Jackson all of a sudden said, I ain't going to play ball. Listen,
you got to beg somebody to do that job.
I'm going to beg another great one.
He is not
Jay-Z.
He is not Martin Luther King.
Come on, bruh. We need it. We old. We ain't getting into Young Thug and Lil Uzi Vert. We need Jay-Z. So Jay, come on, bro. Feel my pain.
Don't get off.
So listen.
There's
only a few things you can do in COVID. There's only a few things that you can do and truly enjoy yourself in COVID. And one of those is watching hoops, listening to some stupid hip hop, and then listening to your crazy weird ass.
And you begging Kyrie to show up.
Yes. Man, listen, man. I'm so happy that James Harden got traded to the Nets because, listen, man, when you start shooting the ball and turning your back on the rim and letting the ball go in and then you giving your team high fives and stuff as you run down. It's way too easy. So we needed the Lakers. We needed the Lakers to have some competition.
Since you mentioned
the only way that they knew that they were going to be able to give the Lakers some competition. Boy, if you keep interrupting me, you keep interrupting. We
turn his mic off or something.
How do you
think? Here's my question. How do you think that trio is going to function?
I don't know, but it's good. It's good theater.
I know you don't know.
It's good theater, and they can ball. Kyrie can ball. James Harden can ball. Now they can't play no defense. Now ain't nobody gonna stop nobody on defense. So the Lakers still gonna do what they gonna do.
3/5 of the team ain't gonna play no D.
Well, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. But. Man, can you imagine James Harden and what's my man Kevin Durant going for like 40 in the same game? That can happen. Or 3 players scoring 30 in the same game. That can happen with them.
They have a switchblade.
Man, listen. Kyrie,
everybody else gonna score.
Kyrie can get you 30, 40 at a drop of a dime. KD, and now you got James Harden. Man, you might have 90 points between 3 players in a game. We ain't never seen that before.
It's gonna be a mess.
Listen, man. Yes, Kyrie, come on back, bro.
It's gonna be a mess.
Take your medicine and come on back.
Okay.
Come on back. I want to see you play, man. I love seeing you play. I love seeing you.
And who's the leader? Who's the leader of this operation gonna be?
There is no leader. The leader will be dispersed amongst all people. Everybody will have a say. That's the way,
and then
each meeting, each basketball practice, they will have sage to clean out the bad spirits. So, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a really, really feng shui.
Too silly.
And,
Too silly.
A namaste type of environment.
We have a tremendous guest today on R&R on Sports. Despite this lunacy that you have just heard, he has been with us through the years.
Hold on. Before you finish interviewing, it started in introducing our guest, Steph Curry. We gotta mention that Damian Lillard was like talking about Steph Curry doesn't have the ability to do what he do anymore. And then they come back and drop 62 on his head. We have got to mention that. We have got to mention when somebody's talking some smack and gets smacked. So, anyway,
62.
Back to what you 62. Put 62 on him. Say, well, what were you saying about my game? What would you say? He started stuttering on him. What you saying?
We have a great guest with us. Nationally, internationally,
my frat brother,
known across the sports world. His name is Brother Chris Broussard, and he's here, right here on R&R on Sports. Don't you go anywhere. Chris Broussard on the other side of this.
R&R on Sports.
Former NBA basketball player, Brother Mario Elie. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Pleasure to be out here with you guys, man. Thank you guys for having me.
It's R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome back to R&R on Sports.
Back.
We are happy. That was terrible.
Man, listen,
as
man.
Usual. That's
your problem.
Listen,
that's your problem. You start hating.
My problem is that
you're
hating
on the brother.
That's
you start hating on the brother, man.
That's
listen, man.
Problem.
We just on the other side of J5, man. Chill, okay? Chill. All right. Start with all that. What's up, my brother Chris Broussard from Fox Sports? What's up?
What's happening? Y'all sound like the odd couple, man.
We are. Absolutely.
Oh, man, we get into it all the time.
All of that. Welcome back, man. It's been a long time.
It has. It's been too long, man. It's great to be on with you guys.
It's great to have you back. So we're going to dive into it. It's been so long that we're going to go from the macro to the micro. So here's the first question. With 2020 being a year, I like alliteration, so a year of the P's, that would be pandemic, protests, and some pitiful punk-ass politicians. I'm of the age that I can say stuff like that. And so Chris, talk to us about where you see sports. Where is sports? Is there trouble? Is there hope? Talk to us.
Well, I mean, sports has been, we always say sports is a distraction. And it's been that in a good way. It has given us something that, in spite of all of these negative things going on that you mentioned, is something that we can kind of enjoy and to some degree unite around. And I love that the athletes and all the three major sports and even other sports are using their platform to speak out.
Right.
LeBron James and the NBA players did a great job getting people to vote, and that played a pivotal role in the election, I believe.
Absolutely, Georgia, for sure.
And so, the NFL players have stepped up and done some good things. And I think that, but sports has given us something to kind of rally around during these tough times. I mean, I remember at the beginning of the pandemic when there was no sports.
Right.
And it was very challenging for a lot of people. It's hard to imagine, like, if we didn't have sports right now, what people would be doing. I think as polarized and, maybe even violent, certainly recently we've seen violence as our nation has been, it might be even worse if it weren't for sports to give people something else to look forward to, something that is not all that important, but yet get your mind away from, what's going on. So, but it's tough. The NBA now, you're seeing more and more players and teams losing players to the virus.
Yeah.
As far as sitting out games, which they knew would happen. But when you look at how things went in the bubble, it was so smooth. It was a great job by them and the players. It's been a bit stressful for the league to start, having games postponed and things like that. But I think they will get through it as the other sports have done.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with Fox Sports analyst and lead basketball insider Chris Broussard. Chris, when you as a black man on Fox, as you're sitting there and you're watching these things happen, what goes through your mind, and the facts that you're on Fox, that is always been noted as a part of that, as a part of the conservative movement? How do you reconcile that? How do you deal with that as a black man on television?
So you're talking about what we saw last Wednesday with the riots, the insurrection.
Right. Exactly.
Well, first of all, let me say this about Fox.
Hold on for a quick second. Not just the insurrection, but I mean, we had George Floyd. You got to go through all of that. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor.
It's a lot of stuff because we hadn't seen you in such a long time.
Right. Well, but let me say this first about Fox. Fox Sports and Fox News are two separate entities.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're all under the Fox umbrella.
Right.
But you could throw Empire and all these black TV shows under there as well. So I'm not at all associated with the Fox News brand. Let's put it that way. I have been on some of their shows, but the point I'm trying to make is that on Fox Sports 1, which is the network I'm on,
right,
or Fox Sports Radio, we have never been told, or it's never even been hinted that you have to watch your mouth or amend your views, in any way, shape, or form. And if you look at our network, Fox Sports 1, you have myself, who is outspoken, Rob Parker on Fox Sports Radio, who's outspoken, Shannon Sharp, who's very outspoken on racial issues.
Uncle Shay Shay.
He preached. He preached, or as my late great mother-in-law would say, he preached last week.
Well, yeah. So that's my point. And then we don't have him anymore, but we had Jason Whitlock up until several months ago, and so he was kind of on the opposite side. But all of us, that's one thing. I'll be honest, that I like about Fox Sports, at least, is that you get to give your views, whatever they are, on racial issues. They don't push you to be conservative or liberal or whatever it is, where some networks, exactly, and I know we're sports, so it's a little different, but I give you ESPN, you're not hearing conservative voices on there. You're going to hear strictly liberal, and so I like that. It's more real, and you're able to share whatever your view is. So, number one, that's never been anything where I had to, I'm at Fox, I have to watch what I have to say. It's never been that. As far as what I saw, obviously the George Floyd stuff was just horrific. But it's been going on, as much criticism as Donald Trump deserves for so much. This is not something that just started happening under Donald Trump.
No, this is
this has been happening since blacks have been in this land. And beyond that, when it first kind of gained the national notoriety because of cell phones and things like that, President Obama was in office. So, I saw it that way. I did like that I heard from white politicians that, I started hearing them talk about the George Floyd situation and mentioning things like systemic racism, saying this has been going on for 400 years and tying it into the history of racism in the country. And obviously you saw a lot of whites protesting and things like that. So those things gave me a little bit of hope that maybe a good number of whites were ready to make the significant changes that need to be made in this country, or this stuff's going to keep these types of revolts or protests, I should say, on the part of African Americans are going to keep happening. They happen every generation.
Right.
You go back to the late 60s, you had the Black Power movement and civil rights movement, all that. Then in the late 80s, early 90s, 90s, with Rodney King, you had that situation. And now another generation. Every generation, when it comes of age and begins to look at things with adult eyes, not just kids. As kids, we like, look, we dominating the NBA. we killing them on the football field. We got all the top hit songs with the rappers, and we think we running things. But when you get to college and get older, you begin looking at things with a critical eye. You see, wait a minute, things aren't fair. We are not running things, economically, educationally, the criminal justice system, all of these real significant areas, we're way behind. And so I think this keeps happening and will happen again unless major changes are made. And I think that I've used this illustration to share with some people, particularly white people, about the situation here in America. And I've said, when you're black in America, unless you just have completely just almost disassociated yourself with African-American history and the plight of our people in this country, there's always, no matter how successful you are in America, there is always a tension between you as a black person and your country.
Every day.
We are always saying and feeling like our country's it's going to put obstacles and roadblocks in our path to hinder us. We're telling our kids, you have to be better. You have to be twice as good. You know, we know that there are times you're going to be slighted, whether it's in job interviews or, whatever the case. There's always attention. Obviously, the police having to talk with your children and knowing you may be pulled over, by the cops at any given moment for nothing. And unfortunately, maybe it could even end up being dangerous for you. Chris, there's always that tension. And I say it, this is just to finish it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that tension exists because America has never really dealt with this racial situation here in America.
Absolutely.
And I use this example. If I went to one of your houses and I stole your car, and a week later I come back and say, man, my bad, I'm sorry, that was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. I shouldn't have done that. But I never give you the car back.
You still got the car.
You still got the car.
Exactly right.
And I'm being nice to you even in time. Like, hey, oh, you need a ride? Let me pick you up. I'll take you to work.
Yes.
I even give you bus fare sometime. Here's your bus fare. No matter how nice I am to you, unless I give you the car back or as time goes on, maybe buy you a new car instead, there's always going to be a tension.
There's always going to be tension.
You're always going to look at me side-eyed.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, Chris.
Blacks in America.
Hold on, Chris. I know you rolling.
That's deep. We're going to get deep.
Hold on. Give me a pause.
We got to run to...
we got to pay some bills for a second.
Absolutely.
Listen. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Kingdom Movement.
We're going to get deep.
We're going to talk about the NBA and James Harden. Listen, stay right there. We're going to come back with the great Chris Broussard right here on the R&R on Sports right after this.
Let me get my ticket, baby. Let me get in line. I can tell the way you like it, baby. Super size. Hold on, you got yours.
3. The power of sisterhood is very important. So check on your strong friend. Call your sister friend.
B. That's what I love about sisterhood. Like, there is no airs. I don't have to put on for you all.
C.
Wherever I am, that's where you all are. So I constantly have pictures. I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm sending stuff. I'm trying to keep connected.
3 Black Chicks on the Kazukian Network.
Back with more R&R on Sports with our guest, Chris Broussard. So glad to have you, man. And listen, everything that you said in the previous segment resonated with me. Especially the last thing that you said. The reason I have such a problem hearing any of God's other children use the term playing the race card is what you just said. Listen. When I show up,
the race card is played.
Right,
okay, that ain't something I gotta play.
Right.
I am the race card.
Right.
Okay, so don't talk to me about playing the race card. I don't have a problem with the card. You do.
Right.
Okay, and that's to your point of every day God sends us, we have to deal with that. And here's the worst part of it. The worst part of it is we have to teach and train our children how to navigate this world and that environment in the skin that they're in. And that's...
Go ahead.
No, I mean, that upsets me. It upsets me. I've got a 12-year-old granddaughter, and it upsets me that I've got to have the conversation, and I have had the conversation with her that I had with her mama and her uncles, and my daddy had with me, and my grandmother had with them, and all of that on and on and on. When does it end?
Well, it's challenging because, I have 2 twin daughters who are 22 years old. And obviously, growing up, I wanted to teach them about Black history and being prideful and happy to be Black and so on and so forth. And obviously prepare them for life in this country. And yet, at the same time, you don't want your children to grow up with a victim mentality.
No.
Right.
You don't want them thinking, I can't achieve as much in school. I can't be as good of a student as their white counterparts. And that's a challenge. It's like you really have to, it's a fine line between.
Conversely, you don't want them naive either.
No, you don't want them naive.
Right.
you don't want them feeling like the entire world is against me, and you know what I mean? And it's a real challenge that many of us obviously have been able to navigate very well, but it's still a challenge. And I think, unfortunately, some of our people maybe err on the side, or they just don't know of not sharing the history and things like that. But it's very important to teach our children African and African American history.
I was talking to my wife a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the popularity of people, particularly on a corporate level, who like to use the word pivot now. And she and I were talking about the term in a sports vernacular, and I was telling her, from basketball. I mean, the pivot it was described a position as well as an action. Right. I said, but you know what? Pivot is just a turn. It's all about what you do after you pivot. Right. And so, given the fact that sports has indeed pivoted, what do you think should be done, needs to be done, must be done by whichever sport? I mean, you can start with basketball or whatever, but what's the move after the pivot?
Well, when you say sports, you mean in terms of the social injustice, or just? I mean in terms of how they go forward as a business, what they do differently, what they did and can't do anymore like they did. I mean, how do you see their next moves? Well, I mean, as far as the pandemic, they just have to push through it and understand that it's going to be different. Like you have Ohio State making the championship game with 7 games, and they're playing an Alabama team that played, I think, 13 or something like that. So that's just the way it is right now. And so when NBA games are postponed and maybe a team even can't play for 4 or 5 days or maybe a week or so, that's just going to be how it is. The schedule may have to be shifted and changed and things like that. So I think, as you've seen, the NFL did it, with the Baltimore Ravens had their issues. The Pittsburgh Steelers had their issues. The Cleveland Browns, going into their first playoff game, had major issues and still were able to come out victorious.
The Steelers just had more issues last night.
Right. It's just the new normal right now. Right. That on that level, the leagues just have to push through and deal with it. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, none of the illnesses, the guys that have caught COVID, at least the mainstream, well-known players, none of them have really had any major illnesses with it. So that's good. But as far as the social injustice, I hopefully that this sparks the players to unite and continue to work together, to promote justice and equality. You want to see more African-American, not only coaches, but front office executives hired. And, the dearth of front office executives and even coaches, particularly in the NFL. And in this latest go round, we may see more black head coaches hired. There's a lot out there on the market. But it shows you that, at least to this point, we're not going to be dealt with fairly when it comes to hiring. Like, sports is virtually the only objective meritocracy there is in America. Like, when you put 2 guys on the court, the field, the diamond, the ring, the track, whatever, it's obvious which one's better. And if you have to win, which all these coaches and franchises do, you can't worry about the skin color. You have to, this dude's going to help me win, whether he's black, white, Asian, whatever. I need to get him. And that's why blacks have been able to, get a fair shot in sports on the field. Now, even quarterback, that was held back up until recently. But for the most part, we have, the last few decades gotten that fair shot. But most other things in America are subjective, and more people are capable of doing it. there are a lot of people capable of being a front office executive in NFL or a coach, a lot more than are capable of actually playing the sport at a high level. Right. And so that's where the subjectivity comes in. And that's why you don't see as many African Americans, even in these sports we dominate, hired at the front office level, because subjectivity comes in. Or maybe both guys, two guys in front of me, both of them are qualified. Oh, the black guy's a little better. Yeah, he'd be better. But you know what? The white guy can do it too. And you can just hire him. And, you're more comfortable with the white guy. So things like that going. So that's why we need to make sure we're pushing hard for advancements in these other areas.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with NBA insider and sports columnist Chris Broussard of Fox Sports 1. Chris, you make a great point talking about the executives and the different programs they have, the Rooney Rule and so on and so forth. My challenge is that when they did a poll and they looked at all the owners of professional basketball and professional football, and something like 99 or 95% of these guys supported Trump. And so I'm wondering, when I hear that, I think about Bill Rhoden, your old colleague's book, $40 Million Slave.
Right.
And I wonder if we still in that situation, because, the slave never ascended, even though he might have been the best cotton picker in the world, he never ascended to the house. He never became a house brother.
I want to tell Chris something that I heard this brother tell his boys, okay, about, I don't know if you were talking about LeBron or whoever, but he said, look, y'all, don't get blown away by how much money he's making, because somebody else's name is on the bottom of his check.
Right.
Yeah.
That just shows, look, the players roughly get 50% of what the leagues make. Roughly. Right. Give or take a little bit.
Wait a minute. Hold on. That's their only, for the most part, that's their main source of income, most of them.
Yeah, right.
But most of these owners, that's not their main source of income.
Right. That's why the players have a hard time winning in collective bargaining.
Yeah.
Because their main source of income, as you said, is that sport. And if they don't get that check, ultimately they're going to suffer. Whereas the owners made their money elsewhere. And this is a hobby for them. And they can go without that money if they need to. But, yeah.
Well, hold on, man. You got this crown on the top of your cap. And I want you, before you get out of here, to talk a little bit about the Kingdom Movement and why is it so important for today?
Well, this is actually a Super Bowl hat. So.
Oh. You didn't have to tell everybody. You didn't have to tell everybody, man. You didn't have to tell everybody that I got bad eyesight, man. You didn't have to let everybody know.
You about to use that vision insurance.
Yeah, I'm about vision insurance you got.
You need to strengthen your prescription, bro.
Well, it looked like a crown. And plus I wanted to talk about the King Movement. So tell us about the King Movement and why it's so important today.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you for that. But the King Movement is an acronym that stands for knowledge, inspiration, and nurture through God. And it's really about strengthening men, all men, but, particularly we deal with a lot of African-American men. And our goal is really to, strengthen. One of our goals, I should say, is to build up our communities, the African-American communities, and our nation. And we know that despite what you may be hearing out there, you can't have a strong family or communities without strong men. And so we are geared towards strengthening our men and helping our men and boys become all that God has created them to be and reach our full potential in every realm of life. And if we do that, our belief is we will be better husbands, we'll be better fathers, leaders, citizens, and role models. And our families will be stronger. Our next generation of children will be stronger. So that's what the King Movement in a nutshell is all about. And we're actually we have a national men's conference every year. We call it the King Summit. We have one coming up virtually in March 19th and 20th. So I'd like to invite you brothers to check it out.
Absolutely.
And have, promote it, push the word. It's national. It's virtual. And we got some great speakers. We have some pastors. I just spoke with a pastor, Derwin Gray, who's going to be involved. He's in North Carolina. Tremendous story he played in the NFL. Now he's a pastor, but came from real hardship. Now has been married almost 30 years, two children. We have Brian Dawkins, the Hall of Fame football player, is a keynote speaker. Ben Watson, Super Bowl champion, is another keynote speaker. And I just did an interview with I've done several interviews with him, but he's going to be interviewed at the summit, Dr. Vince Bantu, who I call him the GOAT. And you guys know we talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady, whoever you think it is. When it comes to African Christian history, particularly African, not African American. Notice I didn't say African American. African church history of Christianity in Africa from the 1st century, right around the time of Christ, on up to the 14th century, before the Europeans started the Atlantic slave trade and the colonization of the continent of Africa. The history of the African church during that time, this brother's the GOAT. And a lot of us, you look, I'm a Christian. And as I try to share the gospel with black men, whether it's in prisons, colleges, the streets, even in the corporate settings at times, you always run up against this myth, this lie, but it's prevalent in our communities that Christianity is the white man's religion. I could go on and on, but we're going to have interviews like that.
Cool.
Will really be powerful and knowledgeable. As I said, it's important for our people to know our history. And it's important for all people to know our history, white people and the people of other races too, because then they will gain more respect for our historic achievements and the understanding that we can achieve those things today as well.
One more time. What's the date on that?
March 19th and 20th.
And it's virtual. And what's the website again? What's the website?
Well, the website is kingmovement.com, but I'll once I get all the promotional materials, we will send them to you guys, and then you can help us promote it. It's going to be powerful, though, because these brothers are powerhouses.
Brother Chris Broussard, great sports journalist and proud.
Straight out of New Orleans.
Proud achiever.
Born in Baton Rouge.
I'm just missing it all the way up today. Baton Rouge, man. Baton Rouge, man. Okay, watch out. Back up off me. Back off me.
Parents went to Xavier in New Orleans. That's where they met.
There you go. There you go.
Thanks for being with us here.
Thanks for being with us here again on R&R on Sports. We appreciate you and look forward to having you back within some reasonable amount of time, man. Don't leave us out here by ourselves.
Larry just asked me again. I was wondering, like, yo, dude, Luke don't want me on the show.
We got you, bro. I got you, bro.
Like what I do. Like what I do.
Was there something I said?
Brother Broussard, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, brothers.
We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
This is MJ, and when I'm not in Chicago hanging out with Scotty and the rest of these guys, I'm always listening to R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports. Pitcher, left-hander, Vita Blue. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on. Let's get it on, man. Let's talk to baseball.
Right.
Talk to sports.
It's R&R on Sports.
Back before we go. R&R on Sports. And yeah, this boy starts saying goodbye. He wants to impress you with how many different ways he can say goodbye.
Come on, man.
You supposed go ahead. You finished?
Okay, I'm finished. So you can finish.
You know, I heard that song you try to sing.
Bye, bye, bye,
no, not
what?
That.
Which one?
Is this the end? Are you my friend? Who is that?
Is it the
That's not Michael Jackson.
No. It's New Edition.
Oh, is it?
Is this the end?
No, I didn't ask you to do it, Larry.
Are you my friend?
My shout out goes to, we have talked about him earlier, but Kyrie Irving. I want to thank him for his philanthropic effort on behalf of my alma mater, the Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, where he decided to complete the education cost for about 10 students that were wondering where the funds were going to come from for them to complete their education.
Do you realize how short people's memory is? Listen to this. This brother at the beginning of the show was saying some real negative stuff about Kyrie. And now he wants to come back talking about he going to give Kyrie some love and I wish Kyrie.
It wasn't negative stuff.
No. See, man,
I was
serious.
saying
it's you media people, man.
Show up for work.
No, man. See, that's the problem.
If he ain't getting paid,
this is who I want to shout out. Listen,
if
and I was growing up in Louisville, Kentucky.
My kids at my school won't get their tuition money. That's my motivation.
I understand.
Right. So go ahead.
Listen,
Whatever
I'll give
you
out
got
a real
to
quick shout out.
Go ahead.
As a young kid in Louisville, Kentucky, I used to go across the street and sit on the porch with this older gentleman named Mr. Bob Taylor. Rest in peace, Mr. Bob Taylor. He listened to the Cincinnati Reds on the radio. So therefore, me being a young man, I sit there and I listen to the Cincinnati Reds. Well, the Cincinnati Reds hated the Los Angeles Dodgers. So therefore, I hated the Los Angeles Dodgers. And when we started watching them on TV, they had a real crazy manager by the name of Tommy Lasorda.
Loved to kick dirt.
Loved to act a fool. and man, he was so passionate. And I remember him, and he made me love baseball. And he made me, he's part of those memories with Mr. Taylor from across the street. So, God rest his soul, but that was a very instrumental part of my childhood.
Now Tommy and Mr. Taylor is together, kicking it on a baseball diamond somewhere.
And somewhere in the great beyond.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
So we appreciate
shout out
you
to
being,
Tommy Lasorda.
There you go. There you go. Say hello to Mr. Taylor.
Absolutely for me.
We appreciate y'all being with us as always every week. We're here on R&R on Sports, and we're going to be back next week and ask that you be here too. And so, I'm Howard Robertson.
And I'm the great one, Larry Robinson.
And we'll be back. Y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And,
you used to come around when
I have to keep talking to us. This fool. We'll cut in with something crazy. Bye, y'all. Peace.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.